Want to talk today about the Nike ZoomX Invincible Run, and got this shoe a few days back. Went on a few runs. I have not gotten up to 50 miles yet, but I'm somewhere around, I believe, 37 miles with this Nike ZoomX. Now, I've had a number of friends who've already bought this Nike ZoomX Invincible Run, and were raving about it. Um, as you already know, I've been testing out a couple of the ASICs, the Nova Blast and the Dell Nimbus Lite 2s. And so I've been busy with those two shoes, so I haven't had a chance to had gotten into the Nikes yet. But used them for a few days, and very pleasantly surprised on how it feels. As you can see, the big thing is the cushion, right? Look at how much cushion you get. That is an enormous amount of foam. Now, this shoe is, I have to say, after using this this work week and a number of jogs and light runs, this is an amazing, amazing shoe. Uh, Better tell you this right away, it's a $180 shoe. So this is definitely the most expensive shoe I've bought in. I'm trying to think if I bought a shoe that's more expensive than this, but I was going to say this is the most expensive shoe I bought this year, but it's the most expensive shoe I bought this year. This is the most expensive shoe I bought the last 2 years, the last 3 years, last 4 years. So the price point is pretty high here. So although it is an amazing, amazing shoe, for $180, that may be a little tad too high for some of you who want to commit to this. Now, it is a lightweight shoe. It's very, very cushiony, as you can see. Very, very cushiony. Also, it is a comfortable shoe with this Flyknit, and then also with the extra padding and the foam in the shoe. And so it does not only perform well, but it's also a very comfortable shoe. Now, let me explain. Let me explain the invincible part. Now, I think a lot of people think that invincible means that this shoe is not going to break apart, and it's going to, you're going to be able to run it 500-600 miles and be okay with it. I don't think that's exactly what their intent was. If you notice on the tongue itself, it says Invincible Run. I think it really basically means this shoe performs well. And I think, to tell you the truth, I'd rather have a shoe perform well and it give me an invincible type running feel more so than it holds up, right? Yes, I want value for my money, but the thing is the run and the comfort are most important. So if the run is really good, but I don't get as much mileage out of the shoe. If I had to choose one way or another, I am not a professional runner. I am a casual runner, but I do know my shoes pretty well. I would rather have it perform better and break down sooner than the other way around, where the shoe lasts forever but just doesn't perform well, right? I rather have quality than the quantity. Now, this shoe here, the drop is 9 millimeters from heel to toe. The heel is 36.6 millimeters and 27.6 millimeters in the forefoot. The heel counter is fairly rigid. And I didn't have a problem with it. I know some people like it a little bit looser, some people like it tighter. I thought it was just perfectly spot on the heel counter. I thought it was just exactly the way it should have been. It's a neutral shoe, and I bought the 9.5 ounce, or the 9.5 size shoe, and it weighs 10.4 ounces. Now, 10.4 ounces on a high end performance shoe is really a little bit on the upper side in terms of weight, right? If you were a professional runner or really a hardcore runner, I think the weight thing might be an issue, right? I think some people say, hey, that's a whole 2 ounces heavier than most of my other high-end shoes. And if you're a performance runner, I think you can go ahead and make that argument, hey, I'm not happy with that. But for casual runners like me who are very committed to running, and I own now close to 3 dozen running shoes at all given times, right? As I rotate my shoes in and out, I'm still carrying about 3 dozen running shoes. Uh, I'm on the upper end of a, I don't think you can say I'm a casual runner, but I do understand my shoes and want good performance from my shoes, but I'm not a competitive runner, and I'm perfectly okay with 10.4 ounces. I think that's perfectly fine for most of us. I thought this shoe with the mega cushioning, the midsole is massive. What more can I say? I've shown it to you many, many times. I mean, this is quite a bit of cushioning. I mean, it performs really well. And if you're looking for mega cushioning, whether you go with this Nike ZoomX Invincible Run or the Asics Nova Blast, I think they're side by side in terms of the cushioniness, right? It's soft and squishy shoe. If you don't like soft and squishy shoes, this shoe, the Asics Nova Blast, they're not the type of shoe you want to be buying. There's a lot of spring back and responsiveness of this shoe because, of course, with so much foam in here, it's going to go ahead and provide you a lot of spring back, and it's going to be responsive to you. If you're a type that likes your foot more to the ground, not so much up higher, you like extra stability, then this shoe is probably not for you. For me, I like the squishiness and the bounce of it and the responsiveness and how it reacts to my feet. And I love the glide feel of this. So I'm a big fan of this shoe. It does fit to size. With it being a squishy shoe, and unlike some of these other Nike shoes that came out before it, there is no carbon plate. So if you do kind of a semi-twist test on this shoe and twist it back and forth, you'll notice that you'll get some twist on it, but it's not going to go ahead and be overly twisty. Now, in terms of the wide side of the shoe, if you look at how wide it gets, you'll notice it does sprawl out a little bit, and so you get a kind of a wide base. It's exaggerated. It does provide quite a bit of extra support, right? As it flares out, you get a lot more wide support angles, and so with the flare out, you're getting a lot more support, although there's a lot of cushioning above it, and it's shaped kind of like a rocker feel, and so I like that. Whether I, go ahead and, and step from the heel side or the midsole side, I get that rocker feel. With the mesh fabric, the Flyknit that's on here, I have to say that of the runs that I've done so far, and I even did a long run on one of the days, almost 15 miles, I gotta say this Flyknit with the breathable foam, breathable mesh net, it was perfectly fine. I didn't feel any hot spots on my foot. I love the breathability of the shoe, utilizing that kind of that mesh upper Flyknit fabric. In terms of the waffle outsole, so let me show that to you here. So the waffle outer sole, I felt that it had really good grip. I did run on some wet pavement, and I purposely made it a point to run through any areas that were wet. I even ran on the boardwalk where the wooden planks were slick and wet in the morning, but I didn't have any problem with the gripability. Now, I believe that this shoe can be manufactured for future year releases, let's say 2022, 2023, where they can cut the weight down by, of course, cutting away some of this, basically this waffle outsole, instead of using the whole circumference of the bottom of the shoe. I think they can go ahead and cut away certain aspects of it to decrease the weight. But as of right now, there is no issue with grip and traction throughout the shoe. I thought it really handled really well, and I put it to the test. I went ahead and ran in every wet spot, wooden plank area, and even the wet grass, and it was not a problem. Now, padding is adequate in the tongue area, and let me show that to you. So the tongue here is adequate. Now, the picture here shows that it has quite a bit of padding, but if you feel this, it's not as padded as you would think. I mean, if you compare it to the ASICS Gel Nimbus Lite 2, that padding was real padding. This padding here, it felt like there was like a, it's just not sewn tightly together, so it looks more cushiony than it really is. But I thought it was adequate, right? It's a little bit better than the Hoka Cliftons or the Hoka Recons. And actually, in general, I think across the board, when you're comparing Hokas to this Nike ZoomX Invincible Run, the tongue itself is actually more cushiony and more soft, and the padding is more than adequate than compared to the Hokas. But it feels like there's more cushion in the heel and the collar, which is true. There's quite a bit of cushioning here in the heel portion and within the collar portion, and so I thought that the cushioning was even more adequate, and that felt really great in the collar and in the heel portion. There are a number of reflective spots here on the shoe. I did not go running in the evening at all. With this being summertime and it being very light out till pretty late here in the Pacific Northwest. But it sure is nice to have an added feature, right? But then, as my friend was saying, for $180, they better have gotten as much right as possible, right? I have to admit, for me, I don't think twice about buying a pair of shoes based on price. I don't think I've ever bought a pair of running shoes based on how much it cost. I'd rather have performance and quality more than anything. Although, yes, for $180, not a very good value, right? Now, the tongue itself, let me explain this to you. It is both a combination of a what I would consider to be a attached and a detached tongue, right? So here we are, and although the upper portion is not attached and it's loose, the bottom portion is attached and basically you can say it's locked down, right? And so you get both the attached and detached portion of the tongue, which I really love. Now, this shoe, of course, is great for my recovery days. I mean, it's so cushiony and so bouncy that I can see me using this shoe exclusively for my recovery days, and then also for my longer days where I want the extra bounce and responsiveness and energy return. I will go ahead and use this shoe. It'll be a good trainer shoe. I think for a lot of people, as long as you're not looking for something like a carbon plate shoe or something with extra stability, I think this shoe is perfectly fine for a training shoe, a recovery day shoe, overall shoe. I like the extra bounce and I like the extra cushion, so I can see myself using this shoe for a variety of different needs. The midsole foam, lots of it, with that bed of ZoomX. The ride and energy is amazing. And that's part of the reason what attracted me to the shoe. Once I saw it and I saw, wow, look how much cushion is in that midsole and within the whole portion of that shoe in terms of providing that extra bounce and cushy and the mega amounts of the bed of the ZoomX. I thought it was amazing. And unlike some shoes where it shows a lot and then doesn't deliver, this shoe definitely has a lot of squishiness and bounce to it. And so I was really pleased with it. I think that the full waffle rubber on the bottom of the shoe to give you enough grip and support was really great. And overall, I thought it was a very comfortable shoe. Of the almost 38 miles I ran so far on this shoe, had no complaints. It performed well, it fit well, it was comfortable, no hot spots. I felt like I could run another 20-30 miles more if I had the time, and so I thought this was great. only one drawback. I mean, I don't want to. I could add two or three little nitpicky things on here, so I'll just leave it at one major thing, which is the price, right? And so for some of you, you may not want to spend $180 with tax. What is that? Like 190, 195, $200 almost for a pair of shoes. And so I would recommend you go out and try these shoes. Go ahead and go to Roadrunner or somewhere and try these shoes on. Walk around with them. Run back and forth across the entire store and say, "Hey, these are amazing shoes. Let me go ahead and buy a pair." But that's a little bit about the Nike ZoomX Invincible Run. The next review I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give you a review of the Asics. Uh, ASICs that I have, the Nova Blast. I have put in 4 days, but I want to put in a couple more days, get up well past 50 miles. But once I go ahead and get past the 50-mile marker on the Nova Blast, I'll go ahead and give you a review. So I'll be back in touch, hopefully in a couple days or so. Talk to you guys later.